Let's move into that financial quarter now, and your personal opinion, of course, on the short-term financial situation in this country. Many people feel the stock exchange bubble must burst very soon. How do you feel about that?
No, it's not a bubble. I've lived through a few bubbles. 87,
It's an extended
97.
bubble, this one, if it is a bubble, yes.
This is nothing, Tony. When people stop me in the street and say, what shall I buy? When people send me emails, when people phone me up, when I write about a particular share and the share price goes up 30, 40%, when hairdressers and shoeshine boys, as Jack Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's father,
Joe Kennedy,
discovered, that's back in the Wall Street crash. That's the time to get worried. Right now, the JSE is reflecting a weak rand, and it's reflecting the fact that our top 40 companies are 60 to 70% of their profits are generated outside of the country. So we get all concerned about, and legitimately so, about the platinum strike, the NUMSA strike, all of these stupid things that we're doing to shoot ourselves in the foot. But as far as investors are concerned, they are immune to it because they're invested in the rest of the world, which is starting to move upwards.
How can business foresee these dilemmas like the platinum mining strike, and how can it compensate for it? It can't really, can it?
Well, it does. It does it all the time.
Yes, it does, by shutting down mines and setting off and putting 20,000 people out of work, or 5,000 or whatever. So what on earth did the miners ever achieve there, if we use that particular instance?
Yeah. Well,
there was nothing achieved, but so who were the winners?
Rationality is, is that, and we are rational beings.
Yes.
If labour becomes too expensive, you find an alternative. It's like anything. If a Coca-Cola becomes too expensive, you buy Fanta.
But can a country that's growing and developing, such as Africa is still at this moment, afford to lose a labour force? It's like doing away with the petrol pump jockeys and turning all them into self-service pumps, which the rest of the world has got. Well, the labour force, what do you do with it?
Well, I wish it was only our problem. This is a global problem. Yes. The reality is technology.
Well, youth is a global problem as well.
Jobs is a global problem. When I was in Davos this year, Davos, the World Economic Forum gets together, the powerful brains, most powerful brains in the world for a week in Switzerland, the leaders of the G20 countries, the leaders of top corporates. And what was number one on the agenda this year, the same as last year, the same as the year before? Jobs. It's a job crunch all over the world because technology is taking over where human beings previously were employed. Now you take your instance about what do the platinum miners do? Quite simply, they mechanize more, because as you increase the price of one issue, in this case labor, then the price, the relative cost of a mechanization falls. Where I come from on all of this is that I think we have a reaction to the social forces that are at play in South Africa, in the world, because of this move away from the old tradition of the industrial age to a new technology age where things can get done better by machines. And the people who are being laid off, the Luddites of of 2014, the Luddites are saying, this is not fair, we want to keep our jobs, and for as long as we got our jobs, we want as much as possible. And why are those rich people who are discovering all these new things, why are they better trained than we are? The reality is we should all look inside, we should all realize that it's a meritocracy. Nobody looks after yourself as well as you do, and that you need to actually go in for lifelong learning aggressively and not just pay lip service.
Aren't we at a point that Britain was under Maggie Thatcher, where the unions became too powerful? Aren't we in that situation? The unions are wagging the dog?
No, it's the last kick of a dying horse.
Is that what you see it as?
Absolutely. There's no question about it.
So you're saying now that the unions are going to be irrelevant in the future?
They are irrelevant all over the world because society has changed. Society has moved. Unions are powerful when you need them. You don't need people today as much as you needed them 5 years ago, and you're going to need them even less in the next 5 years. Those are the realities of what we are living with. Unskilled labor gets replaced by machines. If I was Mtunjwa, I would demand a few things, not more money. I would demand what the Chinese demand when they ask for a job. They don't say, how much will you pay me? They say, what will you teach me? And this seems to have got lost somewhere. We're going
education, education, education.
Conspicuous consumption is all that seems to be important now to the labour leaders. And they are selling a story to their members to say, we'll get you more money so you can maybe pay that loan shark a little quicker, or maybe go that svebe over there that you can have for the night. All of these issues that really don't help in the longer term. It's this instant gratification, conspicuous consumption. If I'm Matunjwa, I'm saying I want to know exactly where the profits are coming in this mine. I want to have an academy for my workers so that they can develop. I also want to have a trust for my workers' children where they can be sure to get a decent education, because as bad as it is today for employment, our children and our grandchildren are going to be having it much, much tougher in the future.